Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Now we will discuss size classification. As we have to differentiate, we have to distribute the materials, separate the materials into different sizes before processing them, and we have discussed this concept in detail in the context of size measurement as well. It is also a prerequisite for the mechanical separators. For the coarser sizes, mostly screens are good enough, while for the finer particle size we need dynamic size separators. So screens are suitable for most of the operations, most of the sizes incorporated into recycling, and they are good enough for a range from several hundred millimeters up to 100 millimeters. These are some common screens: vibrating deck screens, roller, gyratory and trommel screens. Deck materials are mostly made of steel wires, sometimes they are made of rubber, etc. And most commonly vibration is induced by two unbalanced shafts. Sometimes vibration is also caused by electromagnetic exciters. So vibration pattern is elliptical because the task of the screen is not only to separate the material but sometimes to induce a movement in the particles so that they are collected at the other end of the screen. So these are some pictures of the screens. The one on the top left is trommel screen, and then this is gyratory screen and vibratory deck screen. In vibratory deck screen there can be more than two decks. In dynamic separators, the most common example is cyclone separator, the one shown in the figure. The flow is fed tangentially as shown here. The feed is being induced from top in a tangential direction along the perimeter of the cylindrical body. This cylindrical body is connected to this conical bottom, and finally this is referred to as apex, and flow enters the cyclone on the center line. The vortex finder, this is the vortex finder, which is placed on the top of the body and extended deep into the cyclone, even lower than the feed point. This is the feed point, and this is even somewhat lower into the body than the feed point. This is vortex finder. The tangential flow induced enters at the outer wall and exits at the center line, causing a three-dimensional flow pattern. The flow goes from the perimeter to the central line, causing a radial component of the flow direction of center line. So there are basically, for every material, every particle that is being rotated into a circular motion, there are two forces acting on it. One is centripetal force and one is centrifugal force. So the tangential motion of the flow causes the centrifugal force. One force is pulling the particle towards the center, and the other force is acting to pull the particle away from the center. So the centrifugal force is related to the mass of the particle, and flow drag force is related to the area of the particle. So therefore the large particles which have more mass will be thrown out towards the perimeter by the centrifugal force, and fine particles will be dragged into by the drag force. And then other than this circular motion, there is this vertical movement. the particles are either moving up towards the vortex finder, or they are moving down towards the cone, and from the cone into the apex. So the heavier particles, they are moving down through the cyclone, and the lighter particles, they are moving up through the vortex finder. So these are some design parameters. By changing orifice sizes, feed volumes, and cyclone curvatures, etc., it can be, cyclone separators can be used for different kind of separations. Next is gravity separations. For gravity separation to be successful, the concentration criteria should be met, which is this, that the difference in the density of heavy and light material and density of fluid should be greater than 2.5 according to this expression. So a very specific particle size with required density can only be treated through gravity separations. Then there is water media separations. Most commonly, jigs can be used to separate closely sized coarse particles. The smaller the concentration, the narrower the size fraction that must be utilized. So large sizes are usable depending upon the density, but mostly they are less than 10 centimeter. So what happens is that jigging action sinusoidally pulsates water. So this is what they are talking about, that this piston type arrangement is used when it pushes upward and downward. There will be a pulse of, for example, water. Most commonly if water is used, so a pulse of water will be created on this end as this piston type part of the equipment moves up and down. So that will create, as shown in this, a sort of sinusoidal wave or sinusoidal pulse in this. And when the fluid will move up, it will help organize this feed or the particles here lying down on this screen. So as the upward pulsing, the bed loosens and an initial acceleration takes place. When there is a draft of water coming here, it loosens the bed here. This is almost relative to density, as fluid drag forces are small due to small velocity. So it all comes down to density, because the force here is very small, so drag force will not be a determining factor in the separation. As the fluid movement increases, particles settle down in a hindered way in this upward stream. So they are hindered by the presence of fluids. So hindered settling is a function of both size and density. So the fine light particles come at the top of the loose bed. So that's how they are organized. Hindered settling is in the settling in the fluid, settling of particles in the fluids. As the flow velocity starts to slow, when the piston is moving up, the velocity of the fluid is slowly decreasing. Large coarse grains settle faster towards the screen and bottom of the bed. So this is how this is organized. The coarse particles are organized at the bottom near the screen, and fine particles are laid on top of it. At some point the bed becomes consolidated and trickling of the fine particles start to take place. The bed stratifies into different layer of sizes. So light particles are at the top and heavy particles are at the bottom. Needs to be introduced on the screen before the feed stream is introduced. So there must be a layer of heavy particles before the required feed stream is introduced. Then another equipment used for sorting the material on the basis of their sizes is this shaking table, which is slightly inclined, and then it will be shaking right left as shown in this figure. So here basically the feed is in the form of a suspension with almost 25% by weight of solids. And then there is this dressing water or separating water, which will help separate these particles according to their size. So the feed is being introduced from one end. Here the table is moving right to left, and from here a dressing water or water which is helping in separating these particles is slowly being introduced from here. So due to the friction, the flow on the surface becomes covert flow, with a velocity profile increasing from 0 at the surface to a large value at the top. So the velocity at the surface will be 0, but the velocity at the top, there will be a very thin layer actually of the fluid here, and on that fluid in this layer of fluid there will be a velocity profile as shown here. So covert flow is the flow of viscous fluid in the space between two surfaces. So actually in this case there are not two surfaces strictly speaking. One is the table surface, and other we can just consider a layer of air. So in between this table and layer of air is this thin layer of fluid, or mostly water. So this layer of water will have a covert flow which will have a distribution of velocities from 0 at one end and largest velocity at the other end. The particles which will be near to the surface of the table will be almost will have almost relative zero velocity, because they will be moving along with the surface of the table. But the as we will move up from the surface of the table, the velocity will increase. And this relative motion of the surfaces impose a shear stress, because this stress or this force being applied is parallel to the surface. This causes stratification by density and size. So the particles of various density and various size, different size and different density, are organized differently, as it is seen here. The coarse and light particles, the particles which are light but they are bigger in size, they will come up at this position, while the fine is smaller and light, they will come here, and the particles which are big in size and also they are heavy, they have more density, they will be able to travel all the way to this other end of the table. And finally the heavy particles which are smaller in sizes will be accumulated at this part of the table. So this is how the shaking table works. This I have just explained. That is moved along by longitudinal strokes with a slow forward and a rapid return movement. So this right and left movement, as shown in the previous slide in the picture, is not uniform. The force being applied forward and backward is not uniform. The forward motion is slow, but the return movement is rapid. So the table is equipped with riffles. So there are some troughs and troughs, some high points and low points like riffles, which become progressively lower in the direction of flow. So they are also not uniform across the table. there are high troughs at the start of the table, and they become smooth as we move to the end of the table. So that's why it's easier for the particles to move towards the end of the table. As the stratified particle bed moves slowly forward, particle layers are exposed to the dressing water, which sweeps first coarse light particles away from the riffle. So we just saw that also dressing water or separating water is being introduced, so that also has its function, its role to play in the separation other than the movement of the table. So only heavy particles will remain at the point where riffles will taper off or level off, where their height will be slowly reduced. So this is the size range in which shaking table can accept feed, and it has a huge variation in the capacity of the table as well. There are also other gravity separators which are used. In the next lecture we will discuss, in the next part of the lecture we will discuss dense media separations.